Enjoyed your lunch, and for those of you who are continuing to finish it, enjoy, don't stop chewing. How was the morning sessions? How are those exhibits, and how are your sessions? It's fascinating stuff, some smart people in the room. We're so happy to have everybody back, and we have a full plenary session, packed with activities and excitement. You'll be jumping out of your seats. Okay, maybe not, but they'll be jumping out of their seats, I can tell you that. Let's get right to it. For the 6th year, the Hall at Patriot Place has sponsored and presented the Massachusetts STEM Teacher of the Year Award. To present this year's award, please join me in welcoming back once again the Executive Director of the Hall at Patriot Place, Brian Morey.
Thanks very much. First, I want to thank all of the STEM professionals in the room today. Not only do you leave an indelible mark on our students and really their futures, but ultimately on the Massachusetts economy as well. And I think I can speak for Patriots owner Robert Kraft when I truly say thank you for all that you do. The Patriots Hall of Fame presented by Raytheon opened 10 years ago, and it was our goal to build a relevant STEM program that would augment what you do in the classroom. We worked with our amazing partner, Raytheon, to do just that. In those 10 years, we've hosted around 200,000 field trip visitors, including more than 20,000 last year, a year in which we had to turn away almost 100 schools because we were booked solid. This year, we have worked to grow the program to accommodate even more students. 6 years ago, we launched the Massachusetts STEM Teacher of the Year program and awarded Kelly Powers with the inaugural award. And today I will introduce the 6th winner. Also, just for bookkeeping purposes, the application for next year will be available on our website, patriotshalloffame.com, starting tomorrow. So for the 2019 winner. I also want to thank our selection committee, Keith Connors, Allison Sheff, Mitu Raha from the Department of Higher Education, and Michelle McGlone, who's our Hall Education Coordinator. Their time and efforts in going through the process and selecting the winner are greatly appreciated. I also want to recognize our other 4 2018 finalists. I don't know that they're all here, but Amanda Howe from Mashpee High School, Jessica Jarbo from Milton High School, Whitney Cleary from the J. Turner Hood Elementary School in North Reading, and Danielle Pike from Waltham High School. Their schools all received $1,000 from Raytheon. Our winner this year does so much for her math students and really does it with limited resources. She is not only an inspiration to her students, but also to her peers. All 23 of her AP Calculus students in Revere passed the AP exam last year alone. Her school will receive $5,000 from the Patriots Foundation to be used for STEM education. So without further ado, I am proud to introduce from Revere High School, our 2018 Massachusetts STEM Teacher of the Year, Erin Cronin, who gets this 50-pound crystal trophy.
Yep. Okay.
I'll take it.
I was going to say, do I have to hold it? Oh.
That's how heavy it is.
It's heavy. Good afternoon. I would first like to extend a thank you to the selection committee. I so enjoyed the opportunity to meet with you and to reflect on my teaching and STEM education. Also, thank you to Robert Kraft, the Kraft family, and to Raytheon, not only for your generosity, but also for recognizing just how hard teachers are working every single day. I grew up in a family of teachers. Both of my parents spent their entire careers teaching in public school. I knew firsthand that getting into this career that there would be no big paychecks or yearly bonuses. I was also aware that not many other adults would have kind words to say about my profession, and I would constantly be defending myself against the ignorant summers off jabs. Thanks. Though it has always been clear that teachers don't get into this profession for the money or recognition, I so appreciate that awards like this even exist to honor educators. In preparation for today, Brian asked me to write a bio, and I instantly just blanked and forgot everything about who I am and what I've done. So I started digging around, and I found my cover letter from when I applied to Revere High. At the time, I had just stumbled my way through my first 2 years of teaching, where I did my best, but nothing about those 2 years was very Teacher of the Year worthy. So I was surprised to find that I had stated the following in my letter. Before entering the classroom, my philosophy centered on the math I would be teaching and how I thought it would be best presented and practiced. However, after the past 2 years, my philosophy has changed. I believe that in order to provide students with the best and most effective learning experience, they must know that you care and care deeply. It may be easy to convince our students that we care about education, and particularly about the subject that we teach. However, what is more challenging, yet incredibly significant, is that we convince our students that we truly care about them as individuals. I was surprised I had written this after just 2 years of teaching, because now, in my 10th year, I feel exactly the same. I do consider myself to be pretty good at math, but I don't really think that has much to do with the success that my students have had on the AP exam. I've been able to build incredibly strong relationships with my students, and somehow the rest just seems to fall into place. Now, how I go about building those relationships is a bit unorthodox. I'm incredibly tough on my students. Not everyone agrees with my strictness and the level of expectations I set, because for teenagers, some of my students lead incredibly tough lives. Many of my students have more on their plates than any adult I know. Some may think that these obligations may distract them from their education and can argue that allowances should be made, and as their teachers, we should generally lay off because they have more important things going on outside of school. What I have found is that all these outside pressures only make my students that much more resilient. They don't want, and they certainly don't need, the adults in their lives to lower their expectations of them. I have found that if I continue to raise the bar, they will continue to rise to meet it. I know that there is so much more depth to my students and their test scores, but my students don't just want to excel in AP Calculus to boost their GPA or to put an impressive score in a college application. Many of them genuinely rely on the credits they will earn from a qualifying score to finance their college education, and I take the responsibility to help get them that score very seriously. There is also a level of pride that these scores bring to my students. I've been told by adults that my scores are impressive considering where I teach. I take offense to this personally because I don't think those people know that both my parents are from Revere, so those conversations get a little awkward. But what makes this sentiment hurt even more is that I can confirm that my students are hearing this message too. They often ask me, why did you just become a teacher? And they follow up that question with, why do you teach here? These two questions that I hear far too often break my heart. Somewhere along the way, society has not only taught my students that being a teacher is not a worthy profession, but that teaching in Revere is a last resort. This may be what is most meaningful to me about receiving this award. I hope to have made my students proud and to provide them with some pride for their city. They deserve to know their worth. My students are not impressive considering anything. They're just impressive, and I am very proud to be their teacher. Thank you.
You have no idea how heavy that thing really is. You need to be a professional football player just to carry it, I think. How awesome is it to have the kind of passion that Erin Cronin has? Will you join me again in another round of applause for Erin? Thank you so much, Erin, for what you do. As someone who grew up and is a product of the public school system in the city, I grew up here in the city of Worcester. My father was a public school teacher in the city of Worcester for 45 years. What you guys do in our cities is amazing, and so I salute you, and we all do, and thank you so much for all you do.